Frosty the Snowman was a jolly happy soul with a corncob pipe and a button nose and two eyes made out of coal. Frosty the Snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children...
So welcome back to La Land on CRN Digital Talk. I'm Brett Chapin, and that was little Jimmy Durante, Frosty the Snowman, little ode to something that Colin Mitchell wrote earlier in the week. We're talking to the great Colin Mitchell and the great Kevin Dillon of Bitter Lemons, bitter-lemons.com. And thanks for joining us, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Great to be here again.
Say that again, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Great to be here again.
Good to have you here.
Get a little closer.
Colin said that I was going to be bringing something fresh and frosty today, so I brought something fresh and frosty, a little
Nice.
Frosty the Snowman for you.
You just ran with it.
I did. I'll buy you an ice cream after the show, too. That's another frosty.
That's good.
But thanks for joining us, guys. I wanted to have you back. Colin, this is your fourth appearance on the show, and you are the creator, one of the creators of Bitter Lemons. And this is a theater website. For those that don't know about Bitter Lemons, I think it's an interesting distinction to make that you don't actually do theater reviews. Can you tell everybody a little bit about the Lemon Meter?
Right. The lemon meter is kind of tailored on the kind of the Rotten Tomatoes model, which aggregates reviews, but it's an aggregator for live theater. And basically, we just gather reviews from other sites, and then we form a score, and wherever that score falls, it gives it an overall sort of sweet or positive or bitter, which is negative. And that's basically the Lemon Meter. We don't actually have writers who go out and review or anything like that.
So you kind of do an average of what the other reviews are out there, and you put the other reviews up on the site, and the Lemon Meter is sort of an average of what those reviews are. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I find Bitter Lemons to be, I guess you would say, a little bit more irreverent than other sites that talk about theater in L.A. I like to call you guys the village voice of Los Angeles theater. Because the way that you speak and the writing style, it's a very sort of down-to-earth, laid-back type of writing style. It's not so strict and stringent as a site like Broadway.com or Playbill.com. What do you think makes you guys a little bit different than your typical play review website?
Yeah, I mean, the Lemon Meter is basically the spine of the site. It's kind of our service part, and then we have a group of people such as Kevin, who's a recent new contributor for us, who do lots of opinion and commentary. And I don't know. I mean, for me, when I started writing on it, it was originally just me and my publisher NC, but it was mostly me, and I was kind of in a place where I just was speaking my mind, and it was almost like a sort of public memoir in a way, a running memoir. And at the time, I guess I was in kind of a place where I didn't really care what people thought about me or what I was saying, and it came across as very honest and maybe somewhat jokey or not taking things too seriously. And people started reading, and as far as other people who've come on and write, I like that. First, I like original voices. I like a sort of a counterintuitive nature to people. I like people who are opinionated, have no problems with their opinions. People who have thick skins, because we get a lot of, people coming back at us, when we say the things that other people won't say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's an interesting way to engage people and get people involved. We've gotten people have emailed us sometimes when you've been on the show and given us the why are you guys having him on the show?
Wait a second.
But the thing is, I think it's so important to have a voice such as yours in
I
LA
want to
theater.
know who those people
Yeah,
are.
well, I'll give you a list after
Okay,
the show.
afterwards.
But I mean, I stand by the decision to have you on, because I think anybody that's promoting theater, whether your opinions are popular or not, deserves to be heard and should be given recognition, because they're giving recognition to the Los Angeles theater.
Yeah, and I have often run into people. There's something I posted today, which is about the theater a conglomeration of theaters down on Theater Row called the Complex,
Mhm.
and it was fairly disparaging and of that place. And I probably got about 30 emails today offline. No one wanted to do it publicly, but they were like, "Thank you, amen. I was there." Story after story after story after story. So, and I've often had people say, "Well, you say the things that we can't say because we're in the business. I'm the guy who's out in the community. I can't, just,
Mhm.
I can't. We can't say those things, but you are saying those." And it puts me in kind of a tough place sometimes, but whatever. I don't really care. And one of the and like Kevin, who's come on now is we've had a couple of skirmishes before he even started writing for us, and I like that. It was like I'm not the final say on these things. The idea is to provoke conversation, and I like that. I don't mind when people disagree with me. It's a good thing.
Right. I mean, that's what this country is about. You're supposed to be able to give your opinions, and whether they're popular or not, they are your opinions, and you're entitled to them.
Yeah.
And Kevin, you just started working with Bitter Lemons pretty recently, right?
About a month ago, yeah.
Great. Tell us, you were talking about an article that you wrote recently regarding a show, Under My Skin. Do you want to tell our audience a little bit about that?
Sure. In the theory that it's good to get opinions out there, I actually did a critique on the critics, and that had a little bit of a sort of a backlash. Basically, I saw a bunch of reviews come out on this show that I was at, you were at as well, where it was a comedy, and there was a lot of audience reaction. There was a lot of laughter, and when you go to a comedy and you hear, as a comedy writer, that's the first and most important metric. If there's crickets, that's bad.
Sure.
But if people are laughing, and you can tell when people are laughing and engaged, it doesn't matter if half the jokes fall flat. If half of them are getting the audience engaged, you've won. And especially the L.A. Times, Charles McNulty came out and savaged the show to the point where you would have thought that there were crickets in the audience, or from the audience. And my mother, who was a huge fan of The Nanny, and those executive producers and writers wrote this particular show, would have loved this show. And had she just opened up the L.A. Times, and not gone to a place like, say, Bitter Lemons, where you see lots of other reviews, she wouldn't have gone. And that would have, part of the problem with that column was a number of people thought that I was saying McNulty wasn't allowed his opinion, which wasn't the case at all. He just had to put it in context of he didn't like it, but there were lots of other people that found this humor funny.
Right, and it's nothing against McNulty.
No.
We like
Yeah.
Charles McNulty. He's a very talented writer, but the fact is, I got to disagree with him on this particular review. I enjoyed the show tremendously.
And perspective is key. And a lot of reviewers may put context and opinion, but they don't allow for perspective and the fact that they might be wrong.
True.
Like I said, if people are laughing, the comedy wins, and people need to know that, even if you didn't find it funny.
We're talking with Colin Mitchell and Kevin Dellin of Bitter Lemons, bitter-lemons.com. If you have any questions, guys, make sure you give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. We'll be back on La La Land on CRN Digital Talk.